Hello all, I look red. What's going on here? What's going on? Also, how cute is this jumper? Sorry, I can't really show you and I can't be effed standing up, but oh fine, I'll get up. How cute. Sorry. Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Dutchie. Don't need something for that wall. Hello. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the differences between bisexual, pansexual, omnisexual and polysexual, and answering some of your questions regarding it as well. It's been a hot topic in the DMs lately. I'm also super excited to be doing a video on asexuality next Saturday, where I actually have some of you who are asexual and you're going to be answering some questions because I feel as though I can't really speak on the topic myself, and I'd love to have, I think it's more wholesome when we have people come onto the channel that are the sexuality or gender identity that I am talking about and identify with, because I can't talk about it from personal experience and I want all of you to be able to relate as much as possible. So can't wait. Today's video, yes, a highly requested video on the differences between and definitions of. But before we get into it, if you are new here, hi, my name is Dutchie. I create LGBTQ+ content once a week. I also have a podcast called Topics of Taboo. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those good things. I'll have them linked in the description box. And I would love for you to become part of the Dutchie fam on here, on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever. Make sure to hit that big red subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss another upload. Without further ado, let's get on into this video. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by covering the definitions and then we can move into some questions. All right, let's start with omnisexual. Now this was the Google definition, but I had a look afterwards at a few different articles and Reddit threads to get a deeper understanding of it, but this is the Google definition: involving, related to, or characterized by a diverse sexual propensity. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Well, from what I can see, omnisexual is similar to pansexual, but obviously a little different, or there wouldn't be the need for a different term, right? So omnisexuals identify themselves and others as a gender rather than being gender blind like a pansexual person would, which I'm going to cover as the next definition. Omnisexual people have an attraction to all genders, yes, but they tend to like one gender more than the rest. For example, for an omnisexual person, someone's gender or gender expression will impact their attraction to that person in some way. So yes, they are attracted to every gender, but gender plays a factor in their attraction, if that makes sense. So when you're pansexual, which is what we'll move into now, pansexuality is not limited to sexual choice with regards to biological sex, gender, or gender identity. So you can be attracted to any person regardless of gender. Gender does not matter. It does not make you more or less attracted to a person. It doesn't matter. They can be attracted to anyone regardless of gender, but if a pansexual individual starts dating a woman, the fact that they are a woman doesn't make them more attracted to them than they would a man, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. Basically, pansexual is when you're attracted to any person, but you do not care about gender. It has no impact. Pansexual people are gender blind. So that's omnisexual and pansexual. So while they have similarities, they also have differences. Then we have polysexual. A lot of you wanted me to talk about this as well because it is not widely covered at all. Polysexual is the attraction to some, but not all genders. As most of you probably know, there are so many different genders. So polysexuality is the attraction to some but not all. And then we head on into bisexuality, which is the romantic sexual attraction or sexual behavior towards people of the same gender and others. And no, being bisexual does not limit you to being attracted to just men and women or just cisgendered men and women. It's just someone of your own gender and others. Okay, so now that we have those definitions out of the way, I want to answer some of your questions that I popped on Instagram today. This is my handle, this is my feed. If you want to go and follow me and join the Dutchy fam on there, I do ask for a lot of suggestions, questions. I DM some of you quite frequently. So if you want to chat or the opportunity to be in one of these videos, I would highly recommend you go and follow me, because that's where I do most of my social asking stuff for YouTube. But yeah, I just thought I'd answer some of your questions. If there's anything I missed in the definitions, please comment down below, or if there's anything else that I should have put in, also comment down below. I am pretty new to omnisexual and polysexual, so yeah, let me know. I understand the difference between bi and pan, but what's the difference between bi and omni? So as discussed, omnisexual is when you are attracted to absolutely everyone, but gender plays a role in that. And bisexual, you are not necessarily attracted to everyone. Someone said, is it harmful to non-binary people to be bi? Not at all. You can be attracted to non-binary individuals if you are a bisexual. I think the definition just gets caught up in a lot of stereotyping and a lot of BS, honestly. But I mean, I'm not a non-binary individual, so I can't answer that personally to say whether or not it is harmful, but I cannot see why it would be. Someone said, what do you think about the new Insta pronouns bio option? People are so mad and it's funny. If people are mad, they can literally suck a fat one. Why would you be mad about something that makes Instagram more inclusive of people, or something that makes it more helpful for people to have their pronouns there? It's an actual option to be in the bio now. For those of you who don't know, you can have it in your bio here. I updated my Instagram yesterday and did it, and I fucking love that Instagram. Thank you. Bit late on the uptake. Could have done this many updates ago, but still, you're here and you're queer and we love it. If people are getting mad about it, that's their own issue, honestly. How do you deal with being in denial and or fighting within yourself with coming to terms with being bi? I don't get it too often now. I guess you're talking more about internalized biphobia and stuff like that. I just try and bring myself back down. I realize who I'm attracted to and that it is totally valid, and if I'm ever thinking a negative thought, I just replace it with a positive one, realize how happy I am within myself and everything, and my sexuality doesn't define me and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much how I get through it. Is there a noticeable difference between bi and pan, or is it mainly a preference of labeling? I think it's honestly super subjective. I think it comes down to a preference thing. I think being pansexual, you're less likely to have a preference for a gender because you're gender blind when you're pansexual, meaning gender doesn't really come into your reason for attraction to someone, whereas being bisexual, it can for some, not all. I think it does come down to, yeah, more of a preference thing for bisexuals, whereas pansexuals, you don't really have a preference to a gender. That's the whole thing, you're gender blind. I want to know the actual difference between pan and omni. They both mean all genders. Yes, they both mean all genders, but omni, the gender or gender expression, has some sort of weight in terms of who they're attracted to. Pan, it does not. What is the exact definition of bisexual? I find it's the exact same to polysexual. There are so many out there now, and I feel like it can just make people stress out. But to me, like the definition I've always gone by, the one I've seen online the most, is someone who is sexually or romantically attracted to people of the same gender as themselves and others. It doesn't have to mean every other gender, obviously, because that would be pansexual, or omni as well. It's just like your own and another, or your own and two others, but not all. That's, yeah, I know. I mean, there's definitely some overlap between polysexual and bisexual. Can I be a pansexual with a preference? I feel more comfortable with the pan label than omni. As someone who's not pansexual or omni, I feel like I can't answer this properly, but yes, I guess at the end of the day, if you're more comfortable with a particular label, then use the one that you're more comfortable with. There's no like strict guidelines within any of these, you know? Like if that is something that you feel more comfortable with, then use it. And in terms of pansexual, the preference, it's hard because I am not one to judge that. I don't feel like I can judge that or give that sort of advice or answer, because being a bisexual, I don't know. Also, to each their own. I'm not someone that's going to establish a law for someone else or a rule for someone else like that. I I do think the whole idea of being pansexual is that you are gender blind, meaning you don't really have that sort of preference. But I mean, if for some reason you say you date cisgendered women and you've always had better experiences with them, you vibe better with them, you're emotionally better with them, and it's not the fact that they are a woman, it's just that every single woman you've dated has been a better match than any man you've dated or whatever, I guess you can have that type of preference. But if you're putting their preference down to their gender specifically and that's how you're attracted to them at face value, then no. But if, I don't know, again, I feel like I can't be making these decisions. I don't know if this is making any sense, but that's how I would answer that question, I think. No one come for me, please. I love you all. How to know which one of the three you are? Well, hopefully after listening to those definitions, you resonate with one of them more than others, or perhaps not. Perhaps you're still figuring everything out, which is still also a-okay. That's fine. Yeah, I feel I fit the pan label, but I feel more comfortable using bi. Is that okay? Yes, I'm getting a lot of questions like that, being worried if it's okay to label yourself as something in particular. Again, sexuality is such a spectrum, and bisexuality itself is such a spectrum. It is being attracted to your own gender and others. It doesn't have to be just two. So yes, I think you could easily use bi. I think some people do use bi and pan interchangeably, and some use one or the other. So that bi and pan are not the same. One of my best friends is convinced. I can show her. Yeah, they're not the same, they are different. Here you go, send her this video. You heard it here first, friend, they are different. Hey, I haven't liked boys for a long time, just girls. Does that mean I'm still a bisexual, not a lesbian? Honestly, just because you haven't liked a guy in a while doesn't mean that you're not. Like, you could have just not come across a guy that is good enough for you, you know? Ticks all your boxes. It might mean that you're a lesbian and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, or it might just mean that you've swayed a bit more towards girls recently. You've had a bit more of a preference for women. Like, either, doesn't matter. You're valid regardless. Love you. Does the appearance of a partner matter to pansexuals or not? Not being a pansexual, I obviously cannot answer this from personal experience, but from reading and hearing about pansexuals, no. In terms of whether they look like they look after themselves and, you know, have a good head on their shoulders, yes, I would imagine so. But in terms of face value, okay, that person looks like a woman, that person looks like a guy. No, I don't think that matters. Hope that answers your question. One of my good pals is a pansexual and I will be doing a podcast episode with her very soon, so stay tuned for that. I'd like to know how I can figure out if I'm pan or bi because there is not so much of a difference. Okay, getting a lot of questions like that. I think the difference is if you're pan, you are gender blind. There is no, you're not attracted to someone because of their gender. Yeah, and bisexual, it can be, but it can be confusing. Am I still bisexual if I like all genders but only want to have sex with the same gender? That is a really good question. I guess you are whatever you would like to identify as, but if you're saying you like all genders, probably not bi. You're probably omni, actually, because you like all genders, but you have a preference for one of them, and having sex with the same gender is your preference, and that has a lot to do with their gender. So I would say you're omni. Don't let me tell you. I'm attracted to people regardless of gender, but not just because of personality. What's that? Well, if it's regardless of gender, probably pansexual, not just because of personality. I'm guessing you like them because of their personality and not their gender. Is that what you're saying? If so, probably pan. But yeah, have a look at those definitions and like read up and watch YouTube videos on people that are. Hopefully that helps. What is a trans man's sexuality if he's not interested in men but is interested in women and NBs? Okay, that is genuinely such a good question, and I just spent about 5 minutes trying to Google it. Because I know scoliosexual is someone that is like purely interested in transgender people or non-binary people. But if you're attracted to women, so you're a transgender man and you're attracted to women and non-binary people but not men, I don't actually know. Like, I am 100% sure that there is a label out there. Maybe Dutchy fam, you know what a transgender guy that is attracted to non-binary individuals and women is, the term for that. I feel like I should know it, but I do not. So if one of you do, please comment down below. But yeah, that is a really good question. Well, well, that is all the questions I had. This was a really wholesome video. I hope you all enjoyed. I really liked this one. I think I really want to expand my content to more sexualities and gender identities, because I think it's really important, and I think the lesser known gender identities and sexualities should be spoken about more often and given more light. So yeah, this was really nice. I love it. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you loved this one. Comment any other videos you would like me to do, any other topics you would like me to cover, and I will be sure to write them down and do them. I love you all so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.